Hi guys, it's Kiera, back again. Today's video is actually a video request from one of my subscribers, so it's going to be 20 things that I learned in my 20s. If you do see me looking down, I've got my notes here. So number one, people do not care about you. And not in a rude way, but people don't care about you. They're not worried about you, they're worried about themselves. I say that because a lot of people my age are so worried about like what other people think, and it just makes them super self-conscious. But if you know, like, they're not worried about you at all, like they're not worried about you, I promise you they're not worried about you. It makes your life a little bit easier knowing that like everyone just cares about themselves. And not to say that there's like not non-selfish, not in a selfish way, but everyone's selfish pretty much. Number two is you have to love and respect yourself, or no one else will. I actually went to see Tony Gaskins. If you guys don't know him or don't follow him, you should definitely go look him up. He's a motivational speaker and a life coach. A quote that I picked up from him that I really liked was he said that if you don't know how to love yourself, someone will teach you to hate yourself. So if you don't know how to love yourself, you basically teach people how to treat you. So if you don't know how to love yourself, they don't know how to love you either. So that was one of the things. I guess I knew that before my 20s, but it's something that I really used in my 20s. Number three is saving little by little makes a huge difference. Let me tell you. That little $5 or like $6 that you're spending at Chick-fil-A, you put that in your savings, it adds up. Number four is the complete opposite. Spending little by little makes a difference. If you are like eating out at lunch every single day and you're spending like $5, $6, $8, $9 on like a typical meal. If you're eating out every single day, like maybe like $5, $6, or even like $7, like $7 maybe like an average meal. If you're spending that every single day, 5 days a week, that's adding up and you're losing money that you could be putting into your savings. Number five is something that I learned in my 20s, but I think I kind of learned this a little bit before, is live in the moment. I'll do a whole nother video for that, but living in the moment basically means like if something's going on right now, I know how to put myself in that situation and be like, okay, this is what's going on right now, but that's not gonna be what's going on forever. Like this is gonna be, I'm gonna be out of this soon. So I can be in that moment, but know that like this is not going to last, so it'll be over. Number six is you still have time. I know 21 years old is not old at all, but when you like graduate high school, you kind of feel like, oh my god, I gotta like get my life together, I gotta like figure out what I'm doing, and I gotta like just do everything. So this is more for like the 20-year-olds that I'm saying you still have time to, because I know people who are in like their 30s and 40s are like, what do you mean? Like, but when you turn like 21, you're like, or like even when you graduate high school, you're literally like, oh, I gotta like do something, I gotta figure out what I'm doing. But you still have literally so much time. Some people don't figure out what they want to do until they're like 50 years old, and that's perfectly fine. But you just have to know while you're like in your 20s, you still have time. You have plenty of time. So if you don't know what you want to do yet, you got time. You're good. So that falls into number seven, which is that you're not too old or too young. You still have time to do like whatever it is that you want to do. Number eight is do what you love. I would say you're still young, so like do what you love. Number nine, kick your bad habits now. While you're still young, it's a lot easier to kick them now, especially like if you're still living with your parents. Like kick all your bad habits out of the way, so that way like when you get older, you don't have to worry about like trying to like get rid of those bad habits. Number 10, something that I learned, it is okay not to be liked. It's more than okay not to be liked. Not everyone's gonna like you. And I know you guys have heard the saying, if someone doesn't like you, then you're doing something right. That is 100% true. Number 11 is network, network, network. I've gotten all of my jobs that I've ever gotten was through networking, like meeting people and talking to people and be like, oh, I do this, like, and then they're like, oh, can you do this for me? So I'd say network, network, network. Number 12 is to keep learning. When you graduate high school, especially if you are not going to college, keep learning, because if you stay at that like high school level, you're going to stay at that high school level, like, if that makes sense. You're not going to get anywhere else because you're not teaching yourself anything else. Number 13 is to have a vision board or like a plan. I would definitely say to make sure you have a plan for your life. That's something that I learned in my 20s, is that if you don't have a plan, you're not gonna know what to do. You're just gonna like literally live like day by day, but you don't want to be doing that. You want to have a plan for your life. I don't know what the scripture is, but it's Without a vision, my people will perish. It's very true. If you don't have like a vision or a plan or something to go by, you're living your life day by day. Like, okay, I'll just do this today and then we'll see what happens tomorrow. Like, no, you need to have it like, this is what I need to do today. This is what I need to do tomorrow. Number 14 is don't think everyone is your friend. I had to learn that. That is something that I did have to learn the hard way. I get like super attached to people really quick and I'm like, oh, we can be best friends. And then like, I don't even really know them. And then 2 seconds later, I'm like, oh, maybe not. Maybe we weren't good friends. Which also goes into my number 15, which is don't rush things. Just let things happen on their own. Don't get like, I'm not saying don't get excited, because I get excited about like every little thing, but I would say don't get like over the top excited to where you're going to disappoint yourself so much when you're like, oh, that didn't turn out how I planned it, because you didn't like give yourself time to like experience or like learn about what was going on. Number 16 is something that I like stress a lot, and I tell this to like literally all of my friends. Everything happens for a reason, and in that moment it may not feel like, you may not want to tell yourself that, but everything happens for a reason. And if you keep that mindset, it'll make your life a lot easier, especially if you're in those difficult times. And even if you might not know the reason right then, you'll figure it out later in life. It will come to you and you'll be like, that's why that happened. Number 17 is something that I've also learned, which also goes into number 16. Perspective is everything. So if you keep like a healthy perspective on life, like if you're in a tough situation and you're like, I know it never helped, I mean it does help, but I know it kind of doesn't really help in that moment when someone's like, well, it could be worse, this could be going on. Like, that doesn't make you feel any better, that doesn't make your situation any less than what it is, but it does help to put that into perspective and be like, okay, yes, I'm going through this, but I could be going through this. So you kind of just have to like keep yourself like leveled in that perspective. Number 18, I would say something else that I've learned in my 20s is to have someone older than you to like look up to and to get advice from, and listen to them. Don't just like get advice from them and then not listen. Like, make sure you listen to them. They've been through everything that you've been through. Like, your parents are a very good example of someone who you can look up to. They've been through everything that you've been through, and I talked about this in my last video. They've been through everything that you've been through. It's just with different people in a different time. That's the only difference. But everything happens, like everything comes around and around and around again. Number 19, something that I learned is that God will be your best friend. You have your parents, you have yourself, you have your sisters, you have your brothers, you have your best friends, but I'm telling you, God will be your best friend, because He is the only person in this whole entire world that will not judge you. He'll listen to everything that you need to say. He'll always give you the best advice. Whenever, like, if something's going on, if you're down, if you're up, like, that's the first person that you call to. He will be your best friend. And then number 20, something that I've learned, which I'll also do a whole nother video for, is I would wait until you're married to have sex. That would be my number 20 thing that I learned in my 20s. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that would be my number 20 thing that I learned in my 20s, is that you should wait until you're married to have sex. And if you don't agree with me on that, that's fine, but watch my next video about that. That'll actually be next week's video, is why you should wait until you're married to have sex. Yeah, so that'll be next week's video. So thank you guys for watching my video about 20 things that I've learned in my 20s. If there's anything that you guys learned, maybe you're in your 20s, or maybe you're even in your 30s or 40s, and there's something that you've learned in your 20s that you want to share with everyone, make sure you comment down below and let me know what you've learned in your 20s. I'll leave all my social media down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next Monday. Thanks, guys.